everyone, welcome to day 2 or part 2 of this planner page. Now, just to recap from yesterday, I used only the number 73 and did one more layer across this cliff, rock, whatever it is. I went quite slowly and used a round and round movement, and it put down a nice layer of warm colour and just made it look a little bit neater. So that's all I did there. I only used the one colour, so I did promise I would tell you what I had been doing. We haven't got any shadows or shading or anything like that going on. I'm not sure we're going to worry too much about that sort of detail. We'll wait and see as we go, but I think it's time we add a different colour. They've got a lot of orangey browny colours going on, and I'm sort of thinking maybe doing orange fish is going to be a bit too much orange, but I think if we add in the other colours first, we'll be able to tell. So what I'm going to do is do some greens to start with for our plants. We have quite a lot of greens in our Ergosoft, but I don't want to do masses of different greens. I was thinking I might like to do these two. I rather like these two together. I'm going to come in a lot closer though, so don't worry. We will, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. And I thought I would just start up in the top here and then sort of move my way down. Now, I was sort of planning on these ones with these sort of round bits, and I thought I would do the thin part in this, sorry, number 52. That was probably really blurred, I'm sorry. And I'm going to do this just in a solid colour there. And this one, I'm going to just colour around those rounded bits like that. Now this one we've got an outline, so we'll do that. And basically just work our way along. Now these ones that have no roundy bits, I'm going to ignore those at the minute and move on to this one. They all look like they're similar. So I'm going to colour them in a similar way. And there's nothing, it's all a fairly even colour. You could do some different amounts, different layers and things like that. I'm going to use the number 50 to fill in those circles, but because it's quite small, I think it's easier just to keep it really simple. You could even do this in a pen because it needs to be even. I actually find it harder to get an even pen work than pencil, but it all depends on what you're used to, how well practiced you are and what type of pen you have, I think. It's easier always, I personally find, to get an more even colour if you're doing a small area. I'm not really sure why, there's probably some sort of reason. Now this one I'm going to do in number 52 only. I'm going to try and do it a little bit darker near those sort of corner pointy bits and a bit lighter in the middle. You don't have to do it this way, you can keep it nice and simple with just a block of colour if you would rather. Now for these longer pieces, I think I'm going to do them in a different shade just to break it up a little bit. So I'm going to do number 5, which is fairly similar to the 52, I think it is, but it's just not quite the same colour. And again, I'm not going to worry about, whoops, try and keep it neat. I'm sure you're neater than I am. I always admire neat colourists, I'm just not neat. I'm not going to worry about doing darker or lighter areas. Now you may feel you want to do that, and that's absolutely fine. If you are, you could do it darker at the bottom than the top. You could do it darker where they cross over, where there would be a bit of shadow. You could do it darker along the edge. That would be tricky compared with the middle, it's quite narrow for that. And you could maybe use your number 38 to help you with some shading, a dark brown or even a black. There are lots of options, but I'm just keeping it really simple. It's a big page, I think. I mean, there's a lot going on for just a planner page, so I'm sort of want to keep it simple. So that's all the greenery there. I'm going to move down. We've got a little bit here. Now this bit is a little bit bigger, so I think we can do a little bit of shading. Maybe we'll do these two together. So we use number 52. It's not going to be shading, it's going to be several different colours. So I'm going to use 52 darker here and fade it up here. So quite dark here, lots of layers, and then less as we go up there. And then we'll use the 50 for the tip. It'll just look a little bit different like that. We'll do the same on this one. It's simpler, I find, to find a few that you can do the same, sort of cluster together. And although they don't look identical, it doesn't matter. This is number 50. And when I'm going to do the reverse, I'm going to start with my, actually I'm not, I'm going to do it darker down here and fade it towards the tip a bit. And you can see a slight difference in colour. These two work so well together, these two colours. They just blend up really nicely. It's so dark today. I was just popped in to see the children next door, and they were saying how it's been so dark the last few days, and how right they are. So now we've got this really large area. Now these bits along here, I was not sure whether they're related to the coral rather than being plants, but I think I'm going to do them as plants. I think what I'm going to do first is use my number 5 and do all the sort of grassy bits like I did at the top with the 5. I'm going to do these with the 5 as well. Not those bits, rounded bits at the bottom. I haven't decided what to do with those yet. So as before, just keeping it with an even layer and not worrying about any shadows or blending or anything, just to keep it easier for myself. And I'm thinking it's starting to look as a page. If you're colouring along, you will see what I mean. It's starting to look a bit brighter and nicer because we've got another colour coming through, which I think is helping. So all these longer bits. This one, I'm just trying to make out what's what. Sometimes it gets a little bit complicated. That's why it's sometimes easier to pick out one particular bit to sort of concentrate on, and then it helps you to see what's going on the rest of the page. See, this one here looks like it's got little bits on the side, but actually that's the plant underneath. So just I'm going to do this like it's a grassy one too. Now this is quite a big one, so you might really feel like you want to do a few different colours on this one. You could add a darker shade of green with it. As I was sort of explaining before, there are different things that you can do. I'm leaving it plain. I just want to make it sort of consistent through. And this one as well. And now I'm having a look and a think as to whether there's any more or not. I'm not using my favourite Ergosoft greens today. My favourites are the 56 and 57. But I wasn't sure they would work as well. I think I'm going to do this little bit here. And then make that do with this particular colour. There is some more down here, but we'll just concentrate on this side at the minute. So now I'm going to grab my 52 and do, remember we did at the top. You can't see. We did the stalks with this and sort of round bits with the lighter one. I'm going to go again and do the stalks with this one. My stomach is gurgling away. I don't know why. Probably wants a drink. What time is it? Oh, I can't tell. Is it 10 to 10, I think. Can't see my clock very well. I find though if I have a drink too early in the morning, it seems to go through me quickly. So I have to pace myself a bit. And but obviously I need to make sure I drink enough. But with it not being quite so hot, I don't need to worry about it quite so much now. There were rumours of it getting hot again, but it doesn't seem to be. I don't know whether it's in other parts of the country. Because obviously, although the UK is quite a small country, we do have big variations in temperature between the very top and the very bottom. With Scotland being pretty cold compared to the south of England. Having lived in Scotland and not even at the top, I can say it was definitely colder. So number 50, I'm going to do all the other bits here. Just going to hold the page down a little bit. Yeah, I was only in Scotland a year as a student. It's great fun. And happy memories when I was single and carefree. Not that I would be without my husband and children, but I'm sure you know what I mean. I could just get up in the morning and do whatever I wanted. I didn't have to worry about anybody else but myself. I did have flatmates, so I had to be slightly considerate, but apart from that, it was lovely, but cold. I had single glazing on my window in my room. I did face into a courtyard, so I don't know whether that helped protect me a little bit from the cold, but I had thermally insulated curtains to help stop the cold off the window, but the bed was right under the window. Luckily not the head bit, the side of the bed. And I had night storage heaters which I didn't know how to use, so they used to be quite hot in the night and cold in the day, which is the opposite of what they're supposed to be. Nobody taught us how to use them. I'd never come across them before. Basically, the heat comes in at night when it's cheaper and heats up a panel in there. And so you turn the heater off at night, and then when you turn it on in the day, the heat is released from this warm area. I didn't know this. I used to leave it on at night, and it would get very hot, but then I'm going to do this bit. But then during the day it would run out. Number 52 again for the sort of stem bits. It would run out of heat and get very cold. It didn't even, when it was even really hot, it didn't even get that hot. So we used to have a prepayment electric meter. I had to go and buy the cards. I realised I hadn't done that porthole. Just noticed. Let's do that now. It was black, wasn't it, we used, number 9. And we made it, let's have a look, dark on the top, a bit less each side. Coloured it like an eye. Use this technique for all sorts of things. Okay, let's do these light green bits. Yeah, so I used to go to the library to keep warm. That was good. Or go out for a walk. I would feel warm if I was walking. So I was okay. I had, it wasn't that I couldn't afford the heating, it's just I couldn't get it to work. I used to eat quite well too, really, for a student. Lots of pasta and things like that. But yeah, bread and sandwiches and porridge. was pretty much what I ate most days. But yeah, it was fine. I was never hungry. I didn't eat so much then as I do now, I don't think. Right. We have these 3 cone-shaped things, which I think aren't plants. So I'm not going to colour those. I'm going to colour these. Now I always think this is sea lettuce. I don't even know if such a thing exists. But I'm going to colour it in this light green I've got on my hand. It needs sharpening, number 50. I'm just going to give it a sharpen. These have actually all been sharpened with a hand crank sharpener, but I just sharpened this one with a different one. Never mind. It's gone very splintery. The sunlight. I've never known a Staedtler do that. I noticed that most splintery pencils I find are my Castle Art Soft Touch. It doesn't affect the lead, but with the Castle Arts Gold pencils, when I sharpen those, they feel really smooth compared the wood, that is. But I don't really know if the quality of the wood, how important that is in a pencil. I know it's not good if the wood cracks or splits. That's not ideal, and that can happen. I've only had that happen in one pencil, and it was a polychromos. And it was when I received my brand new tin, my very first ever tin, about here on a pencil, there was a big bump where the wood had split and had been painted over the top. And but I got a refund. I bought them from Amazon, and they said, oh, we'll send you a new set, send them back. And I was like, well, no, it's such a waste. Just send me a refund for one pencil and I can buy a replacement. So they did. And I did need to eventually, once I got down to that bit, it didn't sharpen properly, which is fair enough. But it's very rare. I've never had that happen with any other polychromo. I've used quite a few. You know, I've worn out quite a few and bought replacements and things like that. So it's quite unusual. Now this one, I'm thinking I am going to do this light green. And what you might like to do, because this is quite a big plant, is maybe make it a little darker along this part where it goes, you know, along the edge of the central piece. I'm not going to do that. I am, as I said, keeping my plants and the whole of this as simple as I can, really, because there's so much going on the page. And I'm going to use my 52 for that stalk stem. Don't know, I'm sure someone told me the difference between a stalk and a stem once. I think a stalk is what you get in a cherry, isn't it? And a stem is what you have on a plant. Now this one, we haven't got much of it in the picture. I'm actually going to do it all with this number 52, because if you look at the very top here, this stem goes straight into this leaf. I think also a darker colour is quite nice on this edge because it's sort of almost framing part of the picture. I think having it darker works. Yes, so as I was saying, I got carried away. The temperature varies a lot. So it tends to often be hottest in London or down on that south coast, on that area of the country. In the city, in cities it gets a lot hotter just because of the sort of thermal warming effect of the buildings and the traffic and things like that. And of course trees naturally cool the air, so a sort of forested area would always be cooler. So it makes it quite a big difference. Now I realise we've got a few more plants going on down here. We've got this one. What I'm going to do with this is continue with this number 52 and do the outside edge. Quite hard to get it neat on this edge of the book. That bit I'm struggling a little bit. There we go, it's better. There. Okay, and then use my lighter number 50 for this centre of this one. I have a feeling I've missed some more out somewhere. I just going to stop and look. Oh, these. Oh, and these. Let's do the ones here. I'm thinking R50, no, R5 for these. Little tendrils here. Sorry, I'm concentrating, not talking. I guess this is like seaweed or something. This must be an old shipwreck if it's got time for the plant to grow in it, I suppose. And then this bit, let's move across a little bit. I was thinking, we could go with a completely different green and use either 38 or the 56 or 57. I think the 56 and 57 are too far, too different. I'm just going to recolour this because I've noticed how messy it is. Well, I'm thinking maybe I'll use the... I'm being very decisive today. Thinking noise. I'm going to use the 38. And I am going to keep it quite plain colouring again, like I have through. You can see this is a much more bluey green, but I think it matches better with these other greens than the more yellowy greens that are the 56 and 57. Gosh, I'm sure it's getting darker still, rather than lighter. You sort of think as the morning goes on it should be getting lighter, but not today. So dreary. But that's fine with me. I prefer that to being too hot. Yesterday it was so hot and sticky and muggy, I was getting really grumpy. I don't like it like that. Ugh. I was so tired as well when I went to bed. Ugh. I went to sleep quite early actually. I think it was about 9:30. I thought, oh, I'll just settle down and have a bit of a chill. I'll have a bit of a plan of what I'm going to do tomorrow. I did that quickly. And I'll have a bit of do some progressive muscle relaxation. And just enjoy the feeling of lying in bed and being relaxed. But I did a bit of a plan of my day and then fell asleep. So I didn't get to do my progressive muscle relaxation. But I do like it. I need to do it, make the effort to do it a little bit more. It makes a huge difference for me personally, for my stress levels. So that's good. I think I'm going to need it with all the work going on in the house, which by the time this video goes out will be actually, what's the date? Yeah. We would have had the new kitchen units delivered, I think, so that's exciting. But obviously this is being recorded in advance. Now with these, where they're overlapping, you could do a darker piece there, or in here, or here, or here, if you wish to, but I'm just keeping it nice and simple. I feel like making this a nice easy one. There's so much going on, it's going to take a lot of time to complete anyway. And when I do this version in the main book, I might do it really differently, but just for the purpose of this one. Now, how long have we been going on? Okay, I think it's time to do the, oh, that one. I knew there was one that I'd missed. Number 52 for the stem. And number, 50 for the circle bits. I'm assuming this is supposed to be some sort of seaweed. I don't like seaweed. I mean, I've not got anything against it. It's when you're paddling in the sea and it brushes against your leg. Ugh. It's all slimy. Right, let's do these vowels. Now, we've obviously got our lighter brown here and our darker brown here, so we've sort of, what I'm going to do is try and make it a mid brown. So I'm going to start with the 73 and do a light layer over all of them. All the boxes and crates and barrels, I'm going to do them all the same colour, just for simplicity's sake. And the chest. Right, and then we'll get our darker brown, which is the number 76, and do some detailing, and hopefully it will help them to stand out a little bit. So I'm thinking in here and in here. Here we might have a bit of shadow from that one. I'm thinking if we make the edges a bit darker, we'll put a bit of shadow in that one. And again with this one, we'll make the edges a little bit darker. Like that. And here again, edges a little bit darker. He's on his side. We'll do him in a similar way anyway. And hopefully they still stand out from the shipwreck a little bit. With this chest, I'm going to make it a bit darker in here. And underneath here. Maybe two at the bottom. There we go. You could do a lot more detail if you want to. I'm going to do these little stones. I think to make it really different, we might do them in the dark grey. Oops, this is the number 8. If you don't have the dark grey, if you've only got the 24, do it in the lighter grey, which is it 80? Yeah, it's the 80. Goodness, I'm learning the numbers. Now, ideally with stones, I would normally try to do them so that the edge is a bit darker than the centre and then they look more spherical. But these are teeny tiny, so not. I'm just colouring over them a simple way. And all around. You could do these as bubbles, but I'm actually probably going to do some bubbles at the end, just if I remember. And I will draw them on with white pen. I don't think they would really be down there. I've just noticed we've missed a bit of the bottom of the ship. Oops. So I'm going to grab the number 76. Just emphasise this line here a little bit. There we go. Now, how are we doing? Let's look at the time, 28. Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll leave this for now. I'll leave you to, you might want to tidy up a little bit. If you've been following me along and I've been going too fast, you might need to catch up anyway. I'm just looking here thinking, let's tidy up that a bit. Where I rushed. There we go. And tomorrow we shall, I'll be back. Well, that sounds a bit ominous, doesn't it? Tomorrow I would do we'll start coral, fish maybe. I don't know whether we can get it finished. There's quite a lot here. I'll have a think. Well, we'll just see how it goes tomorrow. But there we are for today anyway. So thank you for watching. As I say, do tune in tomorrow and have a look at the next bit. But I think that green has really helped to lift the picture. And I'm going to do the coral tomorrow to start with, and it will help me decide what colour to do those fish. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to do, but we'll wait and see. But for now, thank you so much for watching and happy colouring.